Hello dear crypto friends, and welcome to today's video in which we are going now to take a look at a specific altcoin while Bitcoin is again being boring and doing this funny sideways movement that we have identified already in yesterday's video. I don't want to repeat it. So therefore, we are now going to look at specific altcoins, and we're going to start with Cardano. We are going to look at Cardano today because I think this is fundamentally a pretty good coin. It has already a history that goes back to late 2017, which is not so bad. I think every coin with a history of at least 4 to 5 years is pretty okay. I'm always quite skeptical of new coins because you don't have any history about them. You don't know how they behaved in the past. And if you don't know how they behaved, you are basically kind of gambling a bit too much. It could be a good project, but we have seen with projects like Terra Luna that it can also turn out not to be such a good project, and then you will have not so much fun. So a very solid coin is Cardano. First of all, I can see that it has reached new all-time highs. It went already pretty high back in 2018, reached $1.38, and now it reached $3.14. So it did make a new all-time high, which is not bad. Now in orange, I have loaded the ADA BTC chart, and we can see that ADA is performing nicely because it rises in union with Bitcoin, which is of course a very nice thing. That means when Bitcoin goes down, ADA BTC also goes down, so the ratio of ADA to Bitcoin. But when Bitcoin starts rising, ADA BTC goes up. So therefore, that means basically ADA is replicating what Bitcoin is doing, but on an exaggerated level. ADA is basically Bitcoin on steroids. It's exaggerating the movements of Bitcoin. That is nice in a bull market. That means ADA will outperform Bitcoin, but in a bear market, that is of course not nice, because as we can see now, while Bitcoin has fallen from 69,000 to now around 30,000, ADA has fallen from $3 to now 56 cents, which is of course a much more brutal decline than Bitcoin. So we want to buy ADA here, right? And hold it in the bull market and then exit here. And we don't want to hold it here in this area, right? We don't like that so much. Now looking only at the ADA weekly chart, let us look at the RSI, and like many other coins, like seriously many other coins, ADA is also printing an insanely strong hidden bullish divergence, like super strong hidden bullish divergence. So that means that we have higher lows in the price and lower lows in the RSI. But not only that, it's actually also printing a falling wedge structure. And we know that a falling wedge is almost all the time a bullish structure, so we can assume that we will get a breakout of the RSI to the upside. And what does that in turn mean? That means prices will break to the upside, quite likely. Now this, of course, it's clear will depend on Bitcoin. As every other altcoin, ADA is very much tied to the behavior of Bitcoin, as we have seen. So if Bitcoin now, as I think is quite likely, will actually continue to pump, and we will still go over $100,000 per Bitcoin later this year or early next year, if this theory of mine is correct, then of course we can assume that ADA Cardano will make new all-time highs here, right? That is clear, especially because we have seen that it scales very nicely with Bitcoin, meaning that ADA BTC is rising in unison with Bitcoin. Now, of course, is it a good time to buy now? I personally can say I think yes, because as I said a few times, I think Bitcoin has probably seen the low at 25,400. Probably we might wick down a few more times with Bitcoin. So this means if we zoom into Cardano now, this means of course Cardano could also wick down a few more times, like bow, and then when Bitcoin starts rising, it will also go up. So personally, I think it is a good time to buy this coin, especially because this coin has a very good correlation with Bitcoin. It's just behaving very nicely and scaling nicely with Bitcoin. And also it had a really good performance. It pumped a factor of 183 from its low in March 2020 to its peak, which is really excellent performance. And if I look at this chart now, just if I look at it, it looks to me very familiar. I have seen it somewhere. You know where? It looks to me quite familiar with the structure of what Litecoin actually did. Yes, Litecoin, but way back in 2016 and 17. So for me, if I just look at this structure, especially this funny behavior here, this and this here looks quite similar to what Litecoin did in 2017. And this structure, of course, we do identify with this one here, right? This intermediary structure we identify with this one here. So it is quite fascinating to see that Litecoin and Cardano have a similar structure, and Cardano is doing what Litecoin did 5 years ago. Now, with our Bitcoin theory on this channel, I have this theory that Bitcoin is actually doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure, and that we are just doing an expanded flat, and that Bitcoin will actually go to about 150 or 200k by early next year or late this year, probably more likely early next year. What would this mean for Cardano? Well, if Bitcoin goes to 150k, we can make a small calculation for Cardano. First of all, just looking purely at Fibonacci levels. So the Fibonacci levels, they are based on the Fibonacci number sequence invented by the mathematician Fibonacci. And they tell us what possible support levels a coin can have, or what possible levels a coin can reach in the future. And I think this level here of $6 is already quite conservative. If Cardano has already reached $3 when Bitcoin was at 69,000, we can assume this will be more than $6 if Bitcoin hits 150 or 200,000. So we can take the full extensions. And I think a target of $25 for Cardano for a full Fibonacci extension is, for the full 4.236 Fibonacci extension, is not unlikely. So if Bitcoin hits 150 or $200,000, Cardano could easily hit $25. This sounds insane, yes, but I'm pretty sure that $3 also sounded very insane when Cardano was trading at 17 cents in March 2020. I'm pretty sure that also sounded very insane. Now, if we look at ADA BTC in more detail, we can see that ADA BTC seems to like to spike to the 0.4062 level, right? It hit it here, and we hit the same area here. So it seems to like to go to this area. So we can certainly assume that it will go back to this area. So if Bitcoin would now go to, say, $150,000, then taking this here, we would get a price of $10. And of course, if Bitcoin goes to $200,000, consequently, ADA would go to $13.7, only looking at this here. But of course, it is not excluded that we break through here, make new all-time highs with ADA regards to BTC, and that could lead to prices, as we have said, of $25 if we take the full Fibonacci extension of this entire move, bringing us here up to the $25 range. This is not something which is extremely unrealistic if we make new all-time highs with regards to Bitcoin in the ADA BTC chart. And the nice thing is that the ADA BTC chart is also on top printing a hidden bullish divergence. So this thing is bullish through and through. We are also super oversold on the monthly chart. The ADA BTC chart has reached its lowest ever monthly RSI, the same way as it also reached its lowest monthly RSI with regard to the dollar, as we can see here. So this coin is massively oversold. Combine that with a very good performance with regard to Bitcoin, so it scales very nicely with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin pumps a factor of 2, this coin pumps a factor of 4 or 5, and possibly even more. And we have seen that while Bitcoin has pumped from its low at $3,900 in March 2020 to 69,000, Cardano has pumped a factor of 180, has massively outperformed Bitcoin. And now I think that we are near at the Bitcoin bottom, or if not, very near the Bitcoin bottom. Combine this with this insanely oversold reading on all time frames, the massive hidden bullish divergences, and I think this coin is poised for a nice pump, for a very nice pump that could bring us well above $10 at the end of this cycle, possibly, as we have seen, even up to $25. So it is probably a good coin to load up on. But as always, friends, this is not financial advice. Please do your own research. I'm just telling you what I am doing. But of course, as you know, I might end up being wrong. There's no guarantees for anything in life. Only that you will die. That is the only guarantee you have. Isn't that wonderful? Next time we will talk about Bitcoin again, probably about some stock market correlations, and we will see what Bitcoin will be doing tonight, because tonight Bitcoin will have its weekly candle close, and the weekly candle close in Bitcoin is always a nice area where we can make some new analyses. Thanks for watching, friends. If you found this information helpful or interesting, please like this video and maybe even subscribe to this channel. I would be happy to welcome you here. So then have a nice day, I would say, and see you in the next update video tomorrow. Bye!